How do you run longer without getting fatigued? Hey guys, Nathan here from the Morris Method Coaching, and in this video you're going to be finding out 3 ways how you can increase your kilometers, how you can run longer without necessarily seeing that constant fatigue that sometimes we always feel. Okay, so if you're new to this YouTube channel, I'd like to invite you to not only subscribe, but also click the bell icon so you get a notification every time I place up a new video. Okay, so let's get into this video, and I'm going to give you 3 things for you to be thinking about if you're finding that every time that you run, or every time that you try and increase the kilometers, fatigue just gets the better of you. Okay, so my point number 1 is going to be putting a priority around your volume and taking a less of a priority around your intensity. Now, if you look at your program at the moment and you're looking to increase your kilometers, getting some more long runs behind your belt, the most important thing that you're going to want to do is increase your sessions volume over time rather than actually how hard you're working or how fast you're running. So that would be my tip number 1. When you look at your training program, put a focus around the volume and how you can increase that over time. So let's say that you're busy, let's say that you've got kids, you've got family, but you also have these aspirations to run long distances or just run longer than what you're currently doing. You want to put a priority around not necessarily being super sore the next day. It's a good idea to block up your training sessions in the easy, manageable, doable type intensity so that your volume has a chance to actually lift. That's one topic that I see a lot of people doing wrong, is that they don't have enough intensity discipline to actually pull back. It takes a lot of courage to actually slow down. It's really quite hard. So that would be my tip number 1. Put your focus on the volume aspect. How can you increase your sessions per week, increase the amount of time on your feet versus how hard you're actually working. Now, focus number 2 is going to be something that you're probably either going to do in the gym or you could do at home depending on what sort of equipment that you have, or if you're very early within this type of training, maybe some body weight workouts would be good for you as well. It's all about strengthening the muscles. Now, if you've been out there for say an hour to 2 hours and you find that you can actually handle it with your heart, but your legs, maybe your back, or even your chest starts to kind of dip in, your posture starts to go because the fatigue starts to get to you. So maybe you feel fine internally, but the muscles externally are starting to really take their toll, and that's starting to change your running form and running technique, making it really hard for you to run longer. So my focus number 2 would be to focus on some very simple strength exercises that you can add to your week without getting too sore. Again, going back to point number 1, we want to focus on increasing the volume rather than just increasing the intensity. And sometimes when you add these strength exercises, you can be sore for days on end. So you just want to make sure that you're adding them very tiny amounts into your sessions, or either just before, okay, so that you can actually get the benefits out of it. Now, the best thing about doing a preloaded session, if you're someone who's busy, is that you can stress the musculoskeletal system in 5-10 minutes in a micro workout, and then you could head out for a 40-minute jog, and that tends to make your muscles almost mimic what it's going to be like at the 90-minute mark, at the 2-hour mark, where you're kind of stressed and fatigued, and you really do notice that your posture can take a bit of a toll because the muscles are starting to get fatigued because of the time on your feet. So that's my point number 2. Make sure you've got some good strength in those legs, otherwise running without fatigue or running long without fatigue is virtually not going to happen. Okay, my point number 3, which all our clients would absolutely know that I'm going to say this, is spend more time in the aerobic zone. I don't mean just head out the door and go, I'm going to go easy. Be in the aerobic zone. Understand what your aerobic capacity is, what your aerobic conditioning is like, and build your volume in on this. So if you look at that point number 1 that I go back to, increasing your volume over time and putting volume as your focus as opposed to intensity, all that volume, or at least 90% of it, depending on where you are within the timeline of your program, focus on aerobic training. You will increase your fat oxidizing rate, you will increase how much oxygen you can get to the muscles, and you will actually feel less gassed within your heart, meaning that you have more energy to continue these long form sessions. So if you can apply these three things, number one, volume, number two, get some strength in the musculoskeletal system, and number three, spend appropriate amount of time in the aerobic zone without going over, be very strict with that, you will find yourself very, very quickly, probably 6 to 8 weeks, running longer than what you're currently doing right now. Alright guys, so if you like these 3 tips, if you want some more help, put some comments below. Don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get a notification every time a video comes along. Otherwise, I'll see you out there running.